I think we've had a very heavy morning and afternoon. I think it's been a real, I hope you've been feeling uncomfortable in your seats. Because time and again, what has been said is that it's up to us. And it is true. Now, what is really happening here? You know, I was asked to say, why should we, the people, say no to the special intensive revision, of our voter rolls? Well, let's just take a step back and say, imagine an invisible eraser quietly moving across the voter rolls, wiping away names it's meant to protect. Here's another one. Or imagine a forest cleared with a chosen few trees left to stand, and the rest wither on the side, those trees that were supposed to be standing to nurture that forest. They are us, those trees. We are today witness to the keys of our democracy being changed for only the narrowly selected ones to open that door. Those keys are being taken away one by one. All our turns will come, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about some other state. You may be thinking so. But that state is part of this country, and those people are part of us. So, they aren't just gagging us. They are just writing our names out of existence. Just please take that in. The existence of us as people, the existence of this country as it is, with its composite culture, with its richness it has. What's being described as a so-called revision is actually, what is it? It's erasing. It's all about disguise, distortion, selective invisibility, or deletion. Yeah? So, there are all these technical terms, and we all can't relate to it, and that's all fine. But let's hold on to the crux of it, which is our existence being erased. Yeah? You may not. We all don't relate to all the technicalities, but we must know what are we going to be subjected to. That is the reason all these speakers have spoken before me, in terms of bringing this reality to us from different perspectives. I'd like us to picture this as the unweaving of our nation, our nation's fabric. Democracy is meant to be a fabric, woven name by name, each voter a thread in the larger cloth of what creates a nation and a sense of belonging. The voter list is not just a register. It is the loom on which a voter's right to vote is kept intact. An intensive revision was meant to repair and strengthen it, to ensure that every thread holds firm. But oh no, the needle is actually a ripper. It is not weaving anymore. It is ripping. It is ripping the first state, that is Bihar today, but it will come for all of us. And this is not to say, oh, agar Bihar mein ho raha hai, to hamara kya jata hai? No, Bihar is where this problem has only begun. Let's learn from it. Let us learn how we are going to fight it. There is nobody there. If you're going to look behind you to ask who is behind me who's going to actually fight this, there is no one. It's us. We are the front line. So quietly, almost invisibly, certain names are just being pulled loose from that fabric, not by chance, but intentionally. From a distance, the cloth for now might look, well, it looks whole, it's okay, it's not happened yet. Yet, under the surface, the weave is thinning. If Bihar, it has thinned by 1 crore people and more, it is thinning. Each erased name leaves a small tear. Every name leaves a small tear in that fabric. Each missing disenfranchised voter, a widening gap. A democracy does not unravel in one grand gesture. Oh no, we are witness to that. It comes apart thread by thread until one day the fabric that once bound us together lies in tatters. We await those tatters if we sit and watch. So, yes, the special intensive revision threatens every fabric of our country, every bit of that fabric. We, the people, represent a richness in our diversity, let's not forget that, but the SIR's manipulative mode risks destruction through the butchering of our voter rolls. I cannot call it anything else. Denying us what is rightfully ours. Remember, this began in Bihar with 65 lakhs in that draft voter roll. And it has only grown from there, and you don't know how many votes will be added, like Parkla was telling us, the whole machinery, the way it works, as how many more will be added in various stages of the cycle. The special intensive revision disregards the process of electoral democracy and integrity, which we gave ourselves through our constitution. If you remember our preamble, it says we give ourselves this constitution. Well, if we gave it to ourselves, then we gave every word in that constitution to ourselves. So it is ours. So we have every right to reject, demonstratively reject what's happening. SIR is not a process of maintaining our electoral rolls. Rather, it destroys the electoral integrity that we expect from the constitutional institution that is in charge. Yes or no?
Yes.
So SIR, we must be much more shrewd in the way we watch what's going on and how it informs our actions. SIR is only one more tool in the ECI toolkit to manipulate the results of our elections. One more way of adding, subtracting in the counting of votes. This is, I hope, familiar to you. We have done Maharashtra, we have done Haryana, we have done Delhi, right? So let's not forget all this. It's not something new. So the burden of proof, what has happened through this process is the burden of proof rests on us. This is what has happened in this whole transition, right? We have to prove. What nonsense. Who said we have to prove? Nobody has told us we have to prove. Who is a flawed ECI selected in a flawed way to tell us that we have to prove that we are supposed to be citizens of this country? We have to stand up. Moreover, this SIR, I love the way it is a sir. Have you noticed? It's a sir. Yes, sir. So, moreover, it has never been done before. Never. There is no special intensive revision in the rule book. In spite of what the ECI says, it's never been done before. SIR has been initiated by an election commission that was constituted by a deeply flawed, biased process, and we have seen them in action, so let's not sit and argue about that anymore. That argument is closed. That one's sorted. And the judiciary, well, there was enough said this morning about it, but I just want to remind us. Ambedkar said, the judiciary is the guardian of the Constitution. It serves as the custodian of individual liberties and ensures that the rule of law prevails. But what? But the judiciary has been unable, almost with their hands tied at the back, I feel, to disallow the SIR, in spite of its unconstitutional intentions and outcomes. I mean, it's staring you in the face. But it is not something the judiciary finds is important enough, I don't know, urgent enough, I don't know, or something that needs addressing in the right way according to the Constitution. So, let's be clear about a few things so that we can inform how we want to go from here. Who are the primary stakeholders of this democracy and its electoral process? We are. Our voter rolls, our elections, held in our interest with our participation. For the process of democracy to be continued freely and fairly in our name. Are we being treated like the primary stakeholders by the ECI? Well, recent evidence only reconfirms a clear no. We the people gave ourselves this constitution and we now stand here to push back for not working in the interests of the people, we. Are there other actors we should be looking for fulfilling their responsibilities and obligations? Yes, through the process of democracy, yes, the opposition, but more on that later. Why is the ECI behaving? Why is it so concerning the way it's behaving? As part of ensuring elections are held in a free and fair manner, the ECI needs to conduct itself and fulfill its constitutional obligations, but obviously it doesn't. As voters vanish in tens of lakhs, in other words, SIR, from the voters list, a massive breach of trust. Please take this very seriously. Our breach of trust means something. If we were to call out there is a breach of trust from the people of this country, that is serious. And that is because it calls for it, because there has been that much of abuse of the system. As that this does not serve our democracy or our constitution, yeah? So, because they are supposed to work in our interest. There is a complete loss of faith. You might see it also online. There was some, video going around about a press conference, where people were talking about how they were suddenly involved in getting votes cut off or something. In 2 hours, 70,000 people had watched that video. The ground is swelling, people. It is not that we sit here and think, "Arey, but nobody else will stand up." That is not true. Not true. And let us stop talking this narrative that we are, why are we abusing ourselves in the process? By saying, no, but if you're saying, oh, the people are not ready, we are saying we are not ready, right? That's not possible. The house is burning. Are you going to just let it burn? So this complete loss of faith, because why? Complaints mount and there is no response. It's like, impunity in another flavor. Not a flavor that we've seen before. But let us just not forget. We can go on saying, yeah, but the ECI is like that. We have a right to know. These are the things that we need to hold on to. We have a right to know. We need to know it is our election. It is our democracy. So, a few words for the ECI. As a constitutional institution, ECI, why are you committing daylight robbery on the people of India? Are you subservient to the current ruling party, thereby deliberately sabotaging the system as the various reports on your misconduct reveal? You cannot disregard discrepancy notices. Civil society, media, political parties have revealed evidence and other concerns. But you choose not to behave as the custodian of the electoral roll, instead maiming the voter list. You may be controlling the system, but you certainly are not supervising it to our expectations. There are allegations that there are infiltrations of the system that any ECI would attend to. Why aren't you? ECI, you aren't coming clean to the electorate on infiltration, cyber attacks, safety, and vulnerabilities of the system. Your job is to convince us, the electorate, and be transparent as to how you have looked into the controversies and complaints. Our confidence in you is paramount, nothing else. Not some other party. Well, let me just put this to you. What seems to be happening? We seem to be suffering from what I'd like to call a contra syndrome. Needing to do one thing, but instead quite the opposite happens on various fronts. The electorate, the voters are supposed to be served by the ECI. Of course, they are not. Their citizenship is further questioned on that basis. A voter's right is supposed to be safeguarded by the ECI. Oh, no, let's question them. Complaints, no, let's not investigate them. Voters are supposed to be registered one address. How many? There are some voters who are in various states, and then there are various voters at one residence address. Correct? You've heard this, right? It's stale news, if you ask me. An opposition, and please remember, I need you to hear this. An opposition that has garnered such ground support through its voter Adhikar Yatra in Bihar is participating, believe it or not, participating in this deeply manipulated system instead of outright rejecting it and standing by the people and our democracy. I think it's shameful. Why did you do your voter Adhikar Yatra? What, was it some ego trip? And then when you garner all that support, what do you do with it? You tell yourself that, oh, ab to election jeet jayenge kya? Pagal ho gaye ho kya? Voter list fixed hai. Aapko jitayenge bhi. If they make you win, they will take all the other states next year. So either ways, we will lose. We will lose. They will, reinvent themselves for another flavor. A ruling party, this is the opposition for you, the way it's behaving. A ruling party safeguards and governs by the Constitution, which we have gone out of the habit of even questioning. Instead, it chooses not to follow the Constitution on which it took its oath to serve us. So, we the people are the centerpiece of this democracy, right? Are we not? Because we must behave like that. Do you feel that today, that you are the centerpiece or you should fight to be the centerpiece? Because we'll have to be. At some point, we will have to come into our own. Instead, because we are in this brain of ours, not brainwashed into thinking we are nobody, we are being eliminated as the primary stakeholders. So that the government, and this is important, the government can continue to rule in our name, but not be responsible for what we desire. no sense of responsibility or obligation. This is where we are going. So, how the ground has shifted by this election commission to favor up one party instead of serving the interests of we the people, the electorate. Now, I'd like to address you directly. History will put us down as the witnesses of this manipulated, managed decline of our democracy, while we resist or not behave as the primary stakeholders. Let this be the time for the sleeping giant to awake. Who is the sleeping giant? Do you have any ideas? Any ideas, people? I don't know who I'm talking about, do you? I need this loud and clear. Yeah. So, I'll need more than that. Loud! Yes! So, we the people need to rise as that sleeping giant. We the people are those central sovereign stakeholders. We stand here to push back, to defend our democracy. We the people need to bring our electoral process right back on track. We all need to make it our business to know the threats of our election manipulation, including SIR, and the ECI's other misdeeds, and sound that alarm. We need to pressure our state governments to take a stand against SIR. We need our opposition to stand firm with courage beside us to reject SIR and defend the democracy we are. Saying no to ECR can only happen through action. Oh, awaken, sleeping giant, the country needs you. Nationwide, voter roll revision is beginning as we speak. What are we going to do? What needs to be our response is our stand against SIR is being initiated through, this is the first one, through this Chennai public meeting. There may be other things happening, I am not discounting those. But the Chennai public meeting here is a start to something which can never stop till we attain what is rightfully ours. We must together resolve to bring this country back on its feet as a proud democracy with a rich composite culture. We the people have the highest stake in a free and fair election. Nobody else does. Not even those parties you elect. Not even those leaders you elect. We are the only one who has that stake. So what are we waiting for? Remember, this manipulating system depends on our apathy and indifference, which we have done in loads, in kilos. We have shown our apathy and indifference. Right now, it is tipping point. So out with the apathy, out with the indifference. The threat is palpable. So let's also remember, we are not going to remain a democracy just because one or two states say they are going to be vigilant. That is not going to happen. This is not each state to their own. No. This is a collective fight. And there is no state in this country who should say that we can manage our own. Because there is no own unless it's a collective own, which is called India. As Dr. Balakrishnan said, we are in collective distress. I did feel, when he said it, I literally felt it, that it is collective distress. And it is due to the death of the ECI, unfortunately, the way we know it. Our active citizenry across the country in all states needs to form a broader mass network alliance. And I mean mass. I mean people. I don't mean just organizations and platforms. I mean people to people, we have to join hands. To remind ourselves, we are not subjects, but the citizenry of this proud country. and to come into our own to be that electorate we deserve. A social audit of the electoral rolls, as Mr. Devasayam said, and to take it to the panchayat level is where we need to go. With direct voter involvement, only then we will allow the SIR to take place. We must put this as a condition that we will not have an SIR in any of our states unless there is a social audit that we will do in our states with our panchayats. There must be conditions on which the SIR is taken forward in every state. We cannot allow them to just roll over us and walk all over us. Let's not forget, our tax-paying money is being used to build a manipulating and manipulated election system in our name. Every GST, 5%, 12%, 18%, plus income tax, whatever you do, you're paying for this. It's your bill. In Tagore's poem, where the mind is without fear, he talks about leading the mind forward with ever-widening thought and action to find ourselves awake to freedom. This freedom we must attain by us, all of us. We fought for our freedom for 90 years, but we got democracy for free. Not anymore. We will have to fight for her. This is our Chipko movement. We have to embrace this democracy to defend her and to defend ourselves as this rich, wonderful country that we really are. Thank you very much.